Christ, are there enough of you in this room? What is this, a clown car? I want to get something straight right off the bat. I am not a superhero, and I am not a criminal. Calling me the Flash is doing reverse Frankenstein. You're calling the monster the Doctor. The Flash is something I built. It's not who I am, okay? I am not a superhero. Well, where do you want me to start? The Flash technology is proprietary. I'm not going to explain it to you in this room. I'm not going to be fucked the way you fucked Langstrom. What, this? What are you, the fucking fashion police? Yes, I recognize that I'm doing a thing. I had to appear on television. The people I'm marketing to are stupid. They thought I was a robot for years. I need to represent myself as my invention, my vision, my legacy. In some small ways, I guess I am the Flash, but you can't hold me to that like it's something I said. I would never say that, right? That's arrogance. Now, when you're like me, when you have a brilliant mind, when you understand people, when you can do things other people can't do, when you're existing at a slightly higher level of intelligence than the average genius, right? You can't stand arrogance. If there's one thing I despise, it's arrogance. I can tell immediately if someone's arrogant, and as a genius, I have no patience. I guess I first had the idea for the Flash when I was a kid. I had this idea about moving pieces of reality. Like, wouldn't it be great if God's fingers could reach down and instead of driving a car, God's fingers would just pull you there? And I thought there must be a way to do it. My mother was a physicist, but she was also a bitch and a psycho. She had something wrong. I don't claim to know what was happening, but she couldn't. She kind of treated me and my sister like adults, so it was mainly my sister that raised me. And she was a physicist too. You know, my sister was older, so I used to fantasize that it would be one of those situations you hear about where, you know, the girl gets pregnant too young, and then she pretends to be the sister, but actually she's the mother, and then the mother is the grandmother. I was praying for that. It was my sister who's responsible, I think, for a lot of my mindset. You know, the idea that to really be great at something, you have to respect it. No one respects my work more than me. I'm the real deal, gentlemen, right? Oppenheimer, Einstein. These were cavemen. I'm trying to bring humanity forward, the whole race, one big leap. And the fact that I stole $46 million doesn't change that, okay? Coming out of MIT the fourth time around, I was scouted the way a lot of scientists were. I'd already gotten engaged to Iris, and you know, there's not a lot of money in theoretical physics. And I found myself bouncing around from lab to lab, them saying, you know, Dr. Allen, your theories are impossible. Dr. Allen, you're difficult to work with. Usual things people say when they're not smart enough to understand you, right? I'm working at 10, 12 companies at once, think tanks, big grants, right? But what am I doing? I'm building all my equipment myself, still. So what are these discretionaries doing? I'm working in a lab with a $2 million discretionary. What's it for? I'm the one building the equipment. What's it for? Coffee and donuts? You're gonna spend $2 million? So yeah, I have reappropriated money from a number of companies, right? Rock stars, actors, we pay them so much to separate us from reality. But someone like me, who's actually doing something? Oh, stay behind the scenes, Barry. No one needs to know about you, Barry. Who needs millions of dollars when you can work out of the kindness of your heart? You'd be amazed what they'll tell you to get you to work for cheap. So what, that's wrong? Why? Why is it wrong? Other than that, it's stealing. Like, other than if stealing wasn't a crime, why is it wrong what I did? Where was that money gonna go if not to me? Right? Right? Your theories are impossible. Well, they weren't. What's your security setup like in here? Oh, I'm sure. Let me just clarify something. If Lex wants me dead, no security system in the world is good enough. Because you're all still human, right? That's the dangerous element. Let me ask you a hypothetical question. Would you kill me for $3 billion? Because that's the low end of what Lex can offer you. I hear a very quiet room, gentlemen. So now I have been put into a situation where people are calling me a criminal, right? I'm fired from all the labs, all the think tanks, they smear me in the press. Popular Mechanics calls me the greatest scientific criminal of the 21st century, but the 21st century just started, so it's like... Long story short, I get blackballed from everywhere. I get arrested and I get extradited, but I don't get jailed, and now I'm on house arrest and they're watching me. There's all these charges piling up. Iris is pregnant with Jay at this point. It's a nightmare. My career is over. They're saying I'm guilty of extortion. Extortion? It was a discretionary from my lab. The money was meant for me. Who am I guilty of extorting? Myself? Extortion. It was embezzlement. Now I'm in a situation where I have a pregnant wife, right? Multiple charges, civil cases stacking up. But I couldn't stop working on it. The zero-point technology is my great contribution to this world. It's the thing I'm most proud of, more than anything else. And when you love something, and people tell you you're not allowed to do it anymore, well, you don't stop. You just keep doing it. Because you love it. And what the problem is that the more passionate you are about something in this world, the less seriously people take you. Because most people don't have passion. Most people don't get inspired in that way, and they get frustrated when they see that you do, and they get jealous and they get angry. Everyone's jealous of me. That's what this is really about. That and the 46 million. But other than that, jealousy. Zero-point technology. I'd explain it to you, gentlemen, but I'd like to be still worth something after I leave this room. Let's say all of physics up till this point was the color blue. I figured out how to paint with the color red. Science isn't everything there is to know. Science is a collection of everything we know so far. People like me show up. We're here to revolutionize. We're disruptors. I'm not going to stop just because they caught me taking a little bit of money off the side. I had to keep going. Being able to move as fast as 0 point allows something to move. The propulsion system, it would revolutionize everything. Cargo ships, trucking, shipping, boom, boom, boom. You want to go to Mars? We're there. That's why I built it. We're there in 10 minutes. A fuelless propulsion system that can allow for an unlimited threshold of speed. I made something that can change this world. And Lex Luthor stole it from me. Well, technically, I stole it from him. Around the time we were getting extradited from Spain, I was approached by a man named John Constantine. Have you found him yet? He's one of Luthor's guys. A private eye or something. He hunts down criminals, seedy underbelly type of guy. I didn't want this guy in my fucking house next to my pregnant wife, but he said he was working with Kirk Langstrom, Gerard Schugel. These aren't small names. Why do I respect Kirk Langstrom? Why didn't you respect Kirk Langstrom? He was the one who blew the whistle on the illegal experiments at Cadmus. He did that for you and the world. He sabotaged his own work. And what did you do? You turned him into the face of the biggest genetic fraud in history. And that's on you. So when he comes and he says LexCorp is funding a whole research wing, you think I'm going to say no? You think I'm going to say no to a job, to someone acting generously towards me, to someone allowing me to continue my research? Yes. Yes. Yes, it turned my wife into a fugitive. Yes, I recognize it turned myself, my wife, and my unborn child all into fugitives. I see that. But did you not hear? I was going to change the world. So I have Kirk Langstrom and Gerard Schugel. I have them asking me to come work for more money than I've ever been paid in my life. So yes, I say yes. I'm on a private jet to Gotham the next day. Turns out he's taken over the whole Ace Chemicals lab. Giant building, gorgeous. Luther modernized the whole thing. I mean, you've seen it. It was on the news. They thought we were making antidepressants. Once we get to Gotham, Iris now with newborn Jay, Luther sets them up in a nice apartment. I'm living better than I've ever lived. My colleagues are calling me a genius. Finally, Victor Fries. The Victor Fries. I guess that name has a different association now, but then Victor's one of the most brilliant physicists of the last, 500 years? He's almost as smart as me. And what, he can't work in the Netherlands because he married his cousin, right? And Victor would always say she's not technically my cousin, but that's what I would say too if I fuck my cousin. So come to find out, had been recruited the same way I had. Constantine shows up out of nowhere, gives them an offer they can't refuse when the whole world is against them. Downstairs, we got all different wings of science. It's like Luther's just throwing money at criminals. I knew something was wrong, but you can't say no when you're that close. Then Luther showed me Green 71. Green 71 was an element, but not an Earth element, something off the periodic table. Highly energized metal. Looked like coral rock that allowed for the transference of protons and electrons freely. That means we could take the temperature down to 0 like that. Take the temperature up to the heat of the sun, zoom. We could isolate individual particles and move them around. It was a large hadron collider, but about this big. Only Luther, right? I was working at Ace Chemicals with Victor was probably the happiest point of my life. The fact that Luther wanted me to build the 0-point technology into a wearable suit felt strange. It felt military in a way I didn't like. He had Victor reformatting all of his cryogenic science to work in projectile weaponry. He had to make a fucking freeze gun. Now, making weapons isn't what I signed up for, but you gotta take what you can get to change the world, right? And that's my end goal, change the world. So I compromised with myself. And then I noticed that the lower levels, where Langstrom and Schugel, this woman, Pamela Isley, they were all working down there together in the genetics, and they'd bring people in, and then I wouldn't see them go out. And that kind of put me wrong. I'd see them, they look like homeless looking people, and we weren't supposed to go down to the lower levels. Me and Victor were working up on physics, and then there was a level with Tetch and a fellow named Edward Crane. The Edward Crane, one of the Crane brothers, Jonathan and Edward. Psychopharmacologists, but they were psychopharmacologists. This guy, Jonathan Crane, Edward's brother, he'd gone crazy in Gotham. Poisoned a bunch of people, got beaten up by the Batman. You all know this. That woman Isley, man, Pam Isley, there was something wrong with her. She had a kind of strangeness to her. She would come up and look at us through the windows while we were working on the machines. And sometimes she'd just press her face against the window. Anyway, that thing, the parasite, the 20-foot tall monster on the news, they made that at Ace Chemical. I guarantee you. I know it showed up in Metropolis, but that's because we were dumping straight into Metropolis's frickin' river. We must have flushed him out. Either that or he flushed himself out. All I know is that they brought a guy back to the lab for one day. And then they took him out real quick under cover of night. I start to get a little paranoid. I realize, Luther's filming us at all times. I end up finding cameras and mics in our apartment. I mean, he's listening to me and my wife. Fuck, this isn't all right. You can't do this. I understand that I was working under an obligation, a criminal obligation. And when I brought that up to Gerard Schugel, he made it very clear that Luther would not hesitate to turn me into law enforcement. And that sort of changed the parameters of what I was willing to work on. So yeah, I contacted the Daily Planet, I contacted a reporter named Jack Ryder, and he came poking around Ace Chemicals until Isley got him. Suddenly he's green, boils all over his skin, coming apart in the parking lot, turning into fucking goo, and they sweep it up and he's gone. Lex swept this guy up like he never even existed. It was only about a week later that Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen showed up, the reporters from Daily Planet. They're looking for Ryder. They want to know about the parasite. They're curious about Victor. Now, these are young guys. They're not big leagues, but I keep far the fuck away from them. Victor already wants to talk. He's concerned about the other criminals. He's concerned that he's being tricked into building a weapon. I say, don't talk to them. Don't talk to the press. Don't blow the thing we have. This is our shot. You're going to get us all arrested, Victor. But Victor, no, he knows better. So yeah, he talks to the reporter. He talks to the reporter, gives him the full interview. And honestly, Victor could have done a lot worse. He made Lex Luthor sound like a genius for hiring us. But you can only make hiring criminals sound so good. Especially once we found out that Pamela Isley was already guilty of murder. She'd fallen in love with a college professor, a botany guy, and poisoned him and his wife. And then one night Edward Crane came up, asking about the reporters, wondering if they were asking about him. And that's when we realized this isn't Edward Crane. Edward Crane did die in Gotham. This is fucking Jonathan Crane. This is the fucking Scarecrow. We've been going to work every day with a fucking terrorist, a mass murderer. So I don't know about you, gentlemen, but for me, there's a moral difference between marrying your cousin who's not related to you and stealing a little money here and there and murdering people by causing them to go insane and kill themselves and each other, right? Victor wants to go to Luther, appeal to him. I say, Victor, you're crazy. If Luther's already willing to hire murderers, what makes you think he's going to have some kind of big problem if you say, what, you're going to quit? And go where? He turned you into a criminal too, right? But Victor did go to Luther. He went directly to Luther. Said he wouldn't build a weapon. And Luther explained that the weapon was being designed to kill Superman. Kill Superman. That's what I was doing. For 3 years, I worked in a lab every day on my life's dream. The thing that would revolutionize everything. The thing that'll save the world. And he wanted to use it to kill Superman? Ah, my God! Ah! I guess I always knew on some level. That's why I built the suit the way I built it. You think the controls are analog because I wanted someone else to pilot that thing? No, I built it for me. Cherry red, like a hot rod. Yellow accents. There are no computers in the helmet. I have to do all the math in my head as I'm running, and I'm running fast, boy. You ever wonder how I control it while it's going so fast? I have little photoreceptors in the helmet. They flash in my eyes. I'm undergoing a low-grade epileptic seizure the whole time the suit is running. Perceive time more slowly. It's a cheat. It'll take a couple of years off my life, and sometimes I, vomit my guts out after it slows down, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Luther, so I was right, of course. Luther doesn't take too kindly to Victor saying he wants to quit. Kidnaps the little cousin girlfriend and has Schugel poison her somehow. Freezes her in a block of ice, changes her DNA so she's still alive in there. He tells Victor, no, you're coming back to work. The thing Luther didn't understand about people like Victor, people like me, is we don't respond well to threats and ultimatums. Of course, I didn't know Victor was going to do that. Well, all the shit with the ice gun. He got that thing and went apeshit at the lab. He destroyed all his own work. He ended up fighting Superman. And of course, I'm in my lab during this, hearing bangs, crashes, and explosions. 100 SWAT vehicles pulling up out front. And I knew Jimmy Olsen and Clark Kent are in the building. So I can't run out of here or I risk getting seen by reporters. And if I'm seen by reporters, then I'm placed at a crime scene. And then there's no deniability. So what would stop Luther from getting rid of me? No, I knew what I needed to do. I ran through the whole building, and at this point it was fucking chaos in there. Fear gas and living plants darting around attacking people. Living clay? Is some sort of monster flapping and flying around in the basement, crashing into things, and I'm running through this as SWAT is breaching the building, just trying to shield my face from the cameras. I had to get to the suit. Now, I know Luther is saying I stole it, but the truth is, that suit was mine. That suit was mine. It's mine. It's mine! Not his, mine! So yeah, I took it, and I ran straight through the wall. I don't know what happened to Victor. I don't know what happened to the other scientists. I don't know what my plan was, because by the time I was 200 miles away from Gotham, I have Lex in the mic in my helmet on his dedicated line telling me that he has my wife and my kid. So genius, Barry, big genius. You know, just because I'm a smart guy doesn't mean I don't occasionally there are small lapses in judgment I've made, and this is one of them, and it allowed Lex to kidnap my wife and children. This put me in a strange position. I had now abandoned the lab. I had abandoned the opportunity to tell the truth about what had happened to these chemicals because I thought I would fuck myself. But now I had like double, quadruple, triple fucked myself. And I'm alone with the Flash suit in the middle of New Jersey. And I suppose that was when you all first saw the Flash on TV, fighting terrorists all over the world. I was in 51 countries. 51 countries. Running around in that thing, leaving streaks of fire in the sand and the jungle. I am not a soldier. I am not a tough person, right? I never wanted to be out there doing this, but I was the only one who could use the suit, and Lex was so mad at me that he was having me do this out of spite. Out of spite. And who was I going to talk to? Diana? Diana, the Wonder Woman. The first time I met the Wonder Woman, Lex told her I was a robot created by magic. And she didn't question it once. Not once. He had me in a studio apartment eating out of cans. He had her sequestered in a temple he built on top of a fucking mountain. So what was I gonna say? No, I'm not a robot? I couldn't even take the helmet off in front of her. Lex would blow me the fuck up. Oh, you're a brilliant robot. I mean, she's a simpleton. She's an ignoramus. She's a Neanderthal. But the first time we dropped in, it was in Syria. A town had been taken. I remember she dropped in on a shield from a plane. From a plane! Landed and skidded about 600 feet, got up, took out 7 men in a tank. I'd never seen anything like that before. As the Flash, it always used me like a missile. I would run straight through at the beginning of an engagement with whatever rogue military, mercenary, terrorist Lex had found for us to kill for cameras. I would just leave a big streak of fire. I never actually got a hard number on how many people I killed. Can we actually take a break for a second? So at this point, I'm internationally famous. Even though no one knows my face, no one knows my name, I'm just the Flash. You know, the superhero living in a studio apartment, eating fucking beans. I haven't seen my wife and my kid. After all that shit in Hawaii, Toy Man, we were in a really bad spot. You see, Lex was furious, He'd wanted the Justice League to be the ones who saved the world. You know, like in the comics when the heroes come together and protect the world from an alien threat or some shit like that. Lex had that in his head. Instead, it's a fucking billionaire with robots. And the fucking gang from Scooby-Doo shows up in Hawaii. Superman on TV fighting a giant robot looked great. It looked great. Man, I tell you what, I have never seen Lex Luthor that angry. And then he told us that we were going to have to go after the society. Now, Manchester, he's a misanthrope. He's just a person who loves violence. He was excited. Wonder Woman, she was going back and forth. But me, I don't know. I felt scared, you know? I don't fight. Even as the Flash, I don't fight. There's no one who can touch me when I'm in that suit. But Superman, that might have posed a problem. Zatanna, have you seen what that chick can do? What am I gonna do? Run away? My move, my classic move, run away? Can I get another cigarette? You know, the truth is, I should have known something was really wrong at Ace from the beginning when I think about it. The first use of the zero-point technology was to build something called a kite. It was something you could attach to your back and fly up in the air like Superman. It wasn't perfect, 10-minute power supply. But still, technology from 40 years in the future, available today, personalized flight. He had me build it for this guy, Lawton, Floyd Lawton. I found out later after Jimmy Olsen broke the story about the assassination. Japanese ambassador and his whole family gone. So Lex actually turned me into a murderer way before I ever put on the Flash suit. I was just, you know, I guess I was a little in denial about it. Now at this point, I admit it, I'm in a cold sweat, I'm panicking, I can't sleep, staying up nights, losing my mind. I think Superman's gonna pop up behind me. I think the Aero Vigilante's gonna put something through my neck. I think the Blue Beetle's gonna show up in my living room and crush my fucking head, right? And I've been working this job, the food court at the mall, right? Because Lex doesn't pay me to be the Flash, so in between missions, I have to pay my own rent in a Lex-owned building. Fucking cocksucker, this guy. And I'm at work, and lo and behold, it's the reporter I've now spent 5 years avoiding, Clark Kent. And what does he say? He says he has an in with Queen, says the society is gonna come for me before I can come for them. Says the society can protect me, right? Protect me from Luthor, great. So there's gonna be a big superhero fight. That's what it's headed towards. Well, fuck that shit. I had a personalized unit. There was no way I was working with the society and getting turned into a fucking superhero and going toe-to-toe with Manchester and Diana. I lit up, I got the fuck out of there. I go on TV and I take back my legacy. I say, I am the Flash. Lex is blackmailing me. What's he gonna do, kill my wife and son now? Why are you asking me about that? I see what you're trying to do. The Black Sea incident, I believe, was the 14th time we'd been out as the Justice League. One of those big container ships had been hijacked by pirates. Shit like this happens all the time, but Lex just loved the optics of superheroes fighting on a big boat, you know? So first Diana was dropped in. She took out almost everyone. 300 pirates. Incredible to watch and terrifying. It was only my job to run straight through the back of the ship, cut off the propeller, stop it dead. Lex liked the visual, but after I did that, of course, water began to flood the lower hulls. And Manchester was up there on the deck throwing those blasts around, and some of the crew were getting caught up in it. He was killing hostages. And what Lex had me do was essentially put a hole in the side of the boat filled with the people we were trying to rescue. So it put me in a difficult situation where I was now in the lower hull of the ship in the flash suit. It was flooding. A flash suit isn't designed to be submerged, so I was having a bit of a panic attack. But the larger situation was that a number of men were drowning, were being caught in the lower levels of the ship. As the water was coming in. And these weren't pirates, you know. These were just crewmen. So it put me in an awkward situation because the pirates had been defeated. We were supposed to let the Coast Guard come in, but how the hell were they going to get to the lowest levels of the ship? The whole thing was going to be underwater by the time they got there. But Lex was pulling us out, so I realized if I leave, these guys are going to drown, you know. And it was only like 10 or 15 guys, but the Flash can't go underwater. I would have to run out, so that would mean a high acceleration. I'd essentially be hitting these guys with a sonic boom while they were already drowning, right? So there's no way I could carry them out. And I realized that the best way to get these guys out of here was to get Lex to get them out of here. And the one thing I had that Lex actually valued was the suit. So I destroyed the Flash suit myself. I ran it into a wall to tear off part of the arm. So Lex would have to fly in helicopters and boats and get us the fuck out of there, save those guys, you know. So I destroyed the Flash suit, and, you know. Lex said he built a new one, but I built a new one. Why are you all fucking looking at me that way? It's a technology, right? Oh, because I love it so much, I'm gonna let 10 guys drown? No technology is worth a man drowning, right? One person drowning, one person dying, it's not worth it. You can't kill someone for the sake of science. That's what the psychos do. I'm not one of the psychos. I'm just a genius. And yeah, there's other stories of the Flash saving people, but life pushes us into different contexts, right? At the end of the day, we're only the context around ourselves. So yeah, I've done some superhero type shit, right? But I would never done any of that if I didn't think I had to. I'm not a superhero. And I'm not a criminal, all right? And I'm not the fucking Flash. Even though I am. Even though I am. Now, the lady out there told me, you have my wife and kids. I'd really like to see them now, if that's all right. Superman and Manchester Black happening now. Lex is so fucked.